bartender brought me a drink. He said it was from you. I asked him what you were drinking and sent one back as a thank you. You gathered your things and made your way over to the bar and sat down next to me and made it a point to tell me you usually don't do this sort of thing. I asked, what sort of thing is that? Make advances on handsome gentlemen in bars, you said. They're usually ugly. I laughed and said thank you for the compliment, I think. He asked what brought me out tonight. I said I enjoy flying. You see, I always wanted to be a pilot, but life was never in the right place at the right time for me. So whenever I feel like flying, I just walk down here and have a few. And off we go. You said that's funny. I always wanted to be myself. So now whenever I feel like being me, I just come down here and have a few and pretend I'm me for a while. I asked who's me. You said someone you haven't been able to be for a long time. Someone who can walk into a pub and sit down and have a drink. Maybe meet a handsome gentleman at the bar and talk a bit about life. I said, well, it's nice to meet you. We carried on sharing stories about life and laughing until the pub closed. You insisted on settling the tab, and you stumbled as we made our way to the door. You said you were afraid you might have had a bit too much to drink. I asked how you were getting home, and you said you took a taxi, so I called you one. I waited on the curb with you. It started to rain, so we ducked under the awning. I felt you take my hand. You laid your head on my shoulder and said you weren't used to being up this late. I put my arm around you. The taxi pulled up and I helped you get inside. The rain started coming down harder. You asked if I'd like to share the taxi. I climbed in next to you, and you laid your head back down on my shoulder. The driver seemed to know you when you gave him your address and told him to take the long way through town. He said, I swear I've seen your face before. You told him he must be mistaken, and he didn't say anything more. And it all reminded me of a song. I put my head to yours and closed my eyes. I woke up as we pulled into the driveway, past the gate and the fine trimmed lawn. I gave him a 20 and told him to keep the change. You were sound asleep, so I scooped you up in my arms and carried you up the front steps. The door was open. I felt a light switch on the wall and turned it on. I saw movie posters lining your walls and magazines were everywhere with your face on the cover of them. And suddenly all that talk about just wanting to be you made sense. I found a bedroom and laid you down on the bed. I unstrapped your heels and let them fall to the floor. I placed a pillow under your head and kissed it softly, covered you with my jacket as I quietly said goodbye to you. And I whispered how lucky I was to have gotten the chance to meet the you always wanted to be. I turned out the lights and closed the door behind me. I noticed a bottle of wine on the table next to the sofa as I made my way out the front door. Your lipstick was still smeared on the mouth of it. I put a 20 in its place and hoped you wouldn't miss it. I locked the door and pulled it closed behind me. The taxi was still sitting out front. I asked the driver if he wouldn't mind driving around for a while. He said not at all. I climbed in and off we went. I watched my world go by as we drove off. It almost felt like we were flying. I tipped the bottle and before long I was flying.